The distress call came through at 0400 hours, cutting through the silence of Research Station Kepler 7 like a blade. Dr. Alara Venn jerked awake in her bunk, heart hammering as the universal translator crackled to life. Emergency. Cubs missing. Repeat, cubs missing. Ilara threw off her thermal blanket and stumbled into her boots. The voice belonged to matriarch Kessa, one of the Vorath, a species whose reputation preceded them across 17 star systems. Apex predators, 8 feet of corded muscle, midnight blue scales, and reflexes that could snatch a plasma bolt from the air. Their homeworld's ecosystem was so hostile that Galactic Council had classified it as a Class 9 death world only. Earth ranked higher at Class 10. Ilara grabbed her scanner and rushed into the corridor. The station's biodome stretched before her, a carefully maintained slice of Vorath habitat, purple-leafed trees with thorns like daggers, bioluminescent fungi that pulsed with warning colors, and gravitational fields calibrated to 1.4 standard, crushing for most species, comfortable for her morning jog. Dr. Venn, Kessa's massive form emerged from the shadows, her crest fully extended in agitation. Behind her, 3 other Vorath adults prowled, their eyes triple-lidded and capable of seeing in 17 spectrums, scanning frantically. The cubs, Rin and her siblings. They were in the nesting chamber and now— How long? Ilara interrupted, her xenobiology training kicking in. 17 minutes. 17 minutes. On the Vorath homeworld, that was long enough for a cub to be snatched by a sky hunter, or dissolved by acidic rain. Ilara's mind raced. But they weren't on Vorath Prime. They were on a controlled station where the most dangerous thing was— Her eyes widened. The ventilation shafts. Kessa's talons scored marks into the metal flooring. We cannot fit. The openings are too small. Of course they were. The station was designed for human-sized researchers. Ilara pulled up the schematic on her wrist display, tracking the airflow patterns. I'll find them. Stay near the nesting chamber in case they return. She didn't wait for agreement. Humans didn't become the galaxy's premier rescue specialists by asking permission. The ventilation system was a maze of narrow passages, but Ilara had mapped every inch during her first week aboard. She squeezed into an access panel near the habitation wing, her headlamp cutting through the darkness. The metal was cold against her palms as she crawled forward, calling out softly. Rin? Here, little one. It's safe, silence answered her. Then, a sound. Faint. A tiny chirp, barely audible over the hum of the station's life support. Ilara followed it, navigating 3 turns before emerging into a junction chamber. And there, huddled in the corner where 2 ducks met, were 4 Vorath cubs. Each was no larger than a house cat, their scales still soft and mottled with juvenile patterns. Their eyes glowed in the darkness, too many eyes, watching her with a mixture of fear and exhaustion. The smallest Rin took a trembling step forward. Hey there, Ilara whispered, keeping her voice low and warm. She'd learned that tone mattered more than words with frightened animals. It's okay. You're safe now. Rin chirped again, a sound of distress. The cub siblings pressed against each other, their tiny claws clicking nervously on metal. Ilara sat down cross-legged, making herself smaller, non-threatening. She'd done this 1,000 times on Earth with everything from wolf pups to lion cubs. Predators recognized body language across species lines. I know you're scared, she murmured. It's dark. It's cold. You don't know where you are. Rin took another step. Then another. That's it. Come here, brave one. The cub closed the distance and pressed against Ilara's leg. The contact seemed to break something in the others. Suddenly, all 4 were scrambling toward her, chirping and mewling. Ilara gathered them close, feeling their rapid heartbeats through their scales. They were terrified. And cold. The ventilation system ran cooler than the biodome's regulated temperature. All right, little hunters, Ilara said softly. Let's get you warm. She unzipped her thermal jacket and tucked the cubs against her chest, then zipped it back up with their heads poking out. Their body heat was remarkable, like holding hot water bottles, but their trembling began to subside. Rin, pressed closest to her heartbeat, let out a long, shuddering sigh. Within minutes, they were asleep. Ilara contacted the matriarch. Found them. They're safe. Coming back now. The crawlback was awkward with 4 sleeping cubs nestled against her, but Ilara managed. She emerged from the access panel to find the entire Vorath family waiting. along with half the station's staff. Matriarch Kessa's crest flattened in shock. They sleep? Like rocks, Ilara confirmed, carefully unzipping her jacket. But when she tried to hand Rin to Kessa, the cub's claws dug into her shirt. The little one whimpered, refusing to let go. Her siblings did the same, burrowing deeper against Ilara's warmth. Impossible, one of the other Vorath adults breathed. Cubs do not trust so easily, especially not other predators. Kessa finished, her triple eyelids blinking in astonishment. Dr. Venn, what did you do? Ilara looked down at the 4 sleeping cubs sprawled across her chest and stomach, their soft snores vibrating against her ribs. Nothing special, just made them feel safe. Safe. Kessa repeated the word as if tasting it. Our cubs recognize only strength, only dominance. They do not seek comfort from what? From someone who shows them gentleness? Ilara ran a careful hand over Rin's head, and the cub chirped contentedly in her sleep. Maybe that's what they needed. The matriarch stared at her, then at the cubs, then back at Ilara. Something shifted in her expression, a realization that rippled through the gathered Vorath like a shockwave. This is why, Kessa said slowly. Your species was invited to the council. This is why humans walk among the stars. Ilara raised an eyebrow. Because we're good with kids? Because you are Deathworld predators who choose mercy, because you possess the strength to destroy but the wisdom to protect. Kessa's crest rose in what Ilara had learned was a gesture of profound respect. Our cubs know this. They feel it. Rin stirred, opened one eye, saw Ilara's face, and immediately went back to sleep. Well, Ilara said, settling back against the wall with her armful of sleeping predators. Someone should probably tell them I'm supposed to be running toxicity tests on fungi samples today. The matriarch let out a sound that might have been laughter, deep and rumbling like distant thunder. The samples can wait, Dr. Venn. Today, you are a nesting guardian. And so Dr. Ilara Venn, human biologist and accidental cubsitter, spent the rest of her shift exactly where she was, serving as a bed for 4 of the galaxy's most dangerous predators, who had decided that the safest place in the universe was sleeping peacefully on a human's chest. Humanity? Fuck yeah.